Congratulations to Houston. Played a whale of a game. Case Keenum was terrific, and we just fell into too big a hole to dig ourselves out of. Unfortunately, we had our chances, and first game mistakes got us, and it's a shame because there were a lot of things that went really well today. But we've got to address the things that need fixing and come back to work and hopefully play a lot better in all the facets a week from now in our home opener.
What surprised you the most in your sense of disappointment?
Well, you know, I guess, you know, the end of the first half was the turning point of the game. You know, we're down 17-14, and they come down and score. We're trying to be fairly aggressive, but also be smart. We give them the ball back with 37 seconds, and they score again. That was tough, but I was very proud of the way we came out of the locker room at halftime and went down the field and scored. Opening drive, caused a turnover, went down 90 some odd yards and scored again, held them, had a chance to go ahead, and unfortunately had a legal procedure at that point which derailed that drive, and it's a bitter pill. It's a bitter pill, but you know what? This is the first game. Can't look at it as the season's lost. We got to look at it as great lessons and come back and play our tails off next week.
So some things need fixing. What are some of those things?
Well, line is procedure stuff. We can't jump. I mean, we snapped the ball we run 8 yards on the first play of the game, and then snap one over our head. We haven't done that in 3 weeks of practice. You know, I know first game and all that stuff, but we've got to do that better. Those are things that keep you out of your third down rhythm, because when the third downs were the down and distance was in our favor, we were tough for them to stop.
What happened, Prince?
Concussion.
They were so successful in throwing short early. Why didn't you guys adjust sooner?
Well, we were just carrying things. You know, one of the keys to the game was to be able to reroute the seam runners. And as you try to do that, you've got to get back up into your zone. And those underneath throws were, the guy's a wizard at finding them and getting the ball out of his hand on time and accurate. And he's a really good player.
What was your thought on Bree thought?
I thought Richard played well. A couple of things at the end of the game we've got to work on communication-wise, but I thought he played well.
Do you see a dramatic difference in his decision-making from a year ago on the field?
I thought he was pretty sharp today with the decision-making. There's some things we're going to keep working on because we're always looking for to play the position as well as is humanly possible, but. Coming off the bench like he did, at the time he did, and responding in the second half, there was a lot of good football played by him.
There was a couple times last year where you would comment that you weren't quite sure what he was thinking on the field. Were there any of those moments today?
Far less, yeah.
But not completely.
How do you recover with your kicking situation?
Well, we got to just keep looking at it. Kip started. Made the first ones, and you keep hoping that he's going to, have the confidence to keep going. And unfortunately, he missed wide right at a time where we really needed it because it's a two-score game. He can make it a one-score game. But again, I'm pleased that no one gave up. We found a way to get the ball back, went down, scored, and get a lucky bounce. We got a chance still.
Coach, after the fumble to go down and score, you had to look at it as a positive, and you were headed in the right direction.
Well, there's lots of positives. Unfortunately, when you lose a game and you put this much time and effort into preparing to win it, it's a disappointment. But over the long haul, we've got to learn from it. We've got to rally psychologically so that we come back and play and be excited about playing just as we were excited about playing today.
How about your the final drive? Actually, wasn't the final drive, but a couple earlier. You were taking a lot of time off the clock.
Well, the drive started with 9 minutes, 9 and change. I think 9:30. And I didn't feel like we needed to be in a clock offense deal because we were wearing their defense down. They had been on the field a long time. And as I said, there were a couple of miscommunication things there when we got around the 20 that we've got to fix. That somehow Richard didn't see the signal or what have you, and it required it wasn't as smooth as it needs to be, especially at that point in the game. But if we score with anything over and around the 3-minute mark, we've got all our timeouts and we've got a chance to stop them.
So when you're talking about signal, you're talking about someone signaling into the play and he doesn't see it?
He confused it, yeah.
Confused. What does that mean? You're confusing me.
Well, he didn't get the right signal.
Did he get any signal?
He got a signal, but it was confused. And not pointing fingers at any people. I'm not going to name names. It's just got to get fixed.
Yeah, missed tackles seem to be an issue early on. Is that a concern for you?
Well, you know, this is an interesting game. You know, you got to tackle and you got to tackle well. And yet, when you tackle in practice and you scrimmage a lot, you put your players at risk. And so you try to find the happy medium with tackling in practice, and then but also trying to keep them safe so that the live stuff you limit because that's where bodies are flying around. Clearly, we have to tackle better.
Any concern about your team now, looking at the kicker, losing total confidence there?
Well, I guess concern, yeah, but this is a great bunch of guys that will stick together, and we'll find a way to rally. And if Kip's called on again, then they'll rally behind him. There's nobody going to point any fingers.
When you say if Kip's called on again, is that? I mean,
well,
we
got to have competition.
Yeah,
we got to have competition at the position.
You mentioned that Keenum was. What is it Keenum does that allows him to pick apart?
Well, it's hard for you to sack him, and he's. I mean, it was clear that he can see what you're doing defensively, and he can get guys to plays. And I'm sure if you ask them that he called a bunch of plays today. You're playing with a 6-year NFL vet. The guy that's been in this offense and played as a freshman, sophomore, junior, senior. That's and then senior again. That's a lot of football, and he was tremendous.
37 seconds in the first half. Are you expecting them to kneel at that point?
No, I thought they would come at it, and again, that's a weapon that they have. I wish we could have chewed up a little bit more time.
Other injury updates besides Loud and Prince?
Those two. That's all I know of right now.
Is Westgate a little laboring today with his arm or shoulder?
I have not heard that. I'll ask. Or you can ask.
So how do you pick up the pieces now? Already one game.
You go back, you get back up on the horse, you watch the tape, you put it to bed tomorrow, and we get ready to practice on Tuesday. And hopefully there'll be some loyal supporters out there on Saturday night, and we're going to try to entertain them by playing a whale of a football game.
How tough is it knowing that you guys spent all that time trying to build up this offense? You guys get 34 points, 500 yards, and it's not enough?
Well, it's a team game. And, I still believe wholly in our defense, and I know that we've got to come together and play it better. That's what it comes down to.
But, one Pac-10 team's up, Pac-12 team's opening against Sac State, one's opening against San Jose State, you guys have Houston on the road. Is that something that really just needs to change?
No, you play the games as they come, and there's no, we found out a lot about ourselves today. I don't know that you find out a lot about yourself playing the other opponents. We'll learn and we'll come back, and hope is not lost. This is a disappointment, and what you do when you're disappointed is you rise up and you're accountable. And you tell, and by your actions and by the way you carry yourself, your teammates that you're in this for the duration, and we're going to find a way to play better football.
Speaking of accountability, what about the signals from the sideline? You're not naming names, but everybody who's out there has a name on their back when they play. They certainly get attention when things don't go well.
We have a signal situation, and I don't know exactly what I need to get it cleared up. And before I point fingers, or need to point fingers, I just want to solve the issue.
So is it the wrong signal going in, or?
I'm going to leave it at that. I'm just going to leave it at that because I don't want to give up how we do signals, and just trust me.
I feel like you answered a lot of questions on offense today.
Can I hold on? I want to just finish this thought. So, are you not sure what happened?
happened?
No, I know exactly what
You
happened.
know exactly what happened.
Yeah, but I've got to get right why it happened, and that's why I want to. That's why before I hold anybody, as you say, accountable publicly, there'll be plenty of accountability as we go down the road.
Will Richard be one of those accountable, or
Yeah,
is it something
well, we
on
all
the sideline?
we all are. I mean, if it
But I meant
doesn't,
with the signals, was it him?
if it doesn't work, it's all of our fault. That's the bottom line. There's no reason to point fingers at any one person. We will get it solved.
Do you feel like you answered some of the questions on offense this week?
Again, it's a team game. You got to win. And we had a chance at 30, 5-30, or I think it was 31-28 to go down the field and take the lead, and we didn't. So we're not there yet.
One more question?
Do you walk away feeling more like you guys got beat or you gave it away?
Well, you can't take away from a great effort by them, and certainly their quarterback. I mean, he was tremendous. I don't know what the numbers were, but it was tough to stop.